This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 623, More Sense in Motion by Colin Wright of exilelifestyle.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. This is where I simply read to you, kind of like bedtime stories, but not really. You can use it to help fall asleep, but personally I think it's better if you're paying closer attention. Anyway, big thanks to Gusto for sponsoring this episode. Gusto is payroll, benefits, and HR built for small businesses. It's really simple and paired with great customer service, so you spend less time on paperwork and more time on what you truly care about. And Gusto is offering an exclusive limited time deal. Sign up today and you'll get 3 months free once you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/old. And today's post is from Colin Wright, who lives in a new place every few months. Let's get right to his post and start optimizing your life. More Sense in Motion by Colin Wright of exilelifestyle.com. I make more sense in motion. There's a storm just outside my door as I write this. I'm on a small island in the Philippines and there's a typhoon up north, carving into the shores of the larger island where I was living a few weeks ago. We're only seeing wisps of the tail here, backwash from the core action, but it's enough to shake up the atmosphere, the air vibrating with adjacent activity. The beach is vacant, except for a few brazen locals and ignorant visitors pushing themselves into the waves and walking the beaches, leaning into the stinging force of the wind, hoping that their frantic fun won't take a turn, praying that they don't become a statistic, a tale told to forewarn children the dangers inherent to island living, ghost stories for resort dwellers. I'm one of these people, one of these potential projectiles. I've spent the day wind-whipped, coming up with excuses to leave the little studio apartment I've rented a few steps from the beach, watching as the surf climbs upward, first beyond the usual tide line, then beyond the flag that displays the direction and freneticness of the wind. Its ripstop fabric torn in places, its outline a blur as it's tugged by the 60-mile-per-hour winds and 80-mile-per-hour gusts. The water is creeping toward the chairs that are replaced each morning by restaurant owners, which on a normal day provide spots where tourists can sit with drinks and international foods while ogling the ocean from what's typically a safe distance. That perception of safety is fading. The giant umbrellas were removed yesterday, and the chairs are being eyeballed by managers, each wondering if they can wait out the worst of the wind, or if they'll have to whip-crack their underlings into chair-moving action from the lull they've fallen into during this lull. I'm 2 coffees into my day, each acquired from a different location, and each representing one less legitimate excuse to step out into the elemental fray. The weather has been swelteringly hot, shirt-drenchingly humid for weeks. There's still a stickiness to the air, but the temperature has plummeted. It's 85 degrees Fahrenheit today, but it feels like 75. The gale chaps my skin and cools my permanent glaze of sweat, transforming the moisture-heavy air into something not just tolerable, but pleasant. The feel of the wind in my hair, on my face, across my bare legs and arms is marvelous. I can't get enough of it. After 2 weeks of sweating out every drop of water I've ever consumed all day, every day, the relief is like the deep, complete exhale of a long-held breath. The predictability of postcard-worthy beach weather wears at me, and this island is ensconced by the same class of climate that fed my discontent with Los Angeles many years ago. I crave randomness, an ever-present environmental element that I can't control. I need to wake up and not know what to expect so that I can go out and pursue the unexpected. I've had relationships in which my partner has said they didn't really know me until we traveled together. It's not that I'd ever held anything back, they said, or that I was different in any quantifiable way while wandering, but aspects of my character, my habits, even things like my haircut and facial expressions and category of confidence didn't fully make sense to them until we were in transit. Once on the road, though, it all fit. We're shaped by our environments, just as we shape the places in which we live. Humans are skilled at stomping around and inventing solutions to problems and turning things into other things, but as we alter the world, so too are we altered. Our habits and our outlooks, and even our genes, all in flux. Our habits become traditions, our outlooks become focused perspectives, and we become people who are partially defined by our habitats, our homes. A person without a home, or as I prefer to think of it, a person with many homes, is defined in part by that lifestyle, shaped by mobility and a lack of permanent roots. Such a person must bend lest they break, must get along in order to get along, must roll with the punches by default. My clothing is durable and modular. Everything goes with everything else. My work is an assemblage of projects I can do from anywhere and is burdened with few infrastructural necessities. My relationships are in large part shaped by where I am at the moment, and the deep, lasting partnerships are the kind that transcend physical location. My workout and hygiene regimens are routines that I can perform predictably so long as I have a prison cell-sized area in which to move. I've adopted a hairstyle that can grow long and heavily disarrayed while still appearing somewhat intentional. I enjoy holding still sometimes, slowing down and taking stock, assessing and processing. But the moment I get back out there, the moment I arrive at an airport or a train station, or board a bus, or hop on a boat, or start walking a path that will take me someplace new, I can feel the difference. I feel like I've arrived, like I'm back in a place where I can be truly and completely myself again. I don't have to realign and reshape or convince myself that I entirely enjoy having everything neat and tidy and controlled. I no longer need to tolerate the weather being the same every day. Should the wind or rain become typhonic, should the ocean move uncomfortably far inland, should plans fall apart and the unexpected become the norm, should the world suddenly spin wildly and thrust me into something for which I'm not prepared, while I'm out here on the road at least, I'm not expected to step back and go inside and wait for it all to pass. I can walk in that wind. I can get ruffled and wet and worn. I can use and abuse my possessions because that's what they're there for, to get me where I want to go, wherever that happens to be, whether or not there's an existing path that will guide me there. I make more sense in motion, while moving, experiencing new things, feeling a little uncomfortable and always somewhat off balance, while pursuing new ways of looking at life, at people, at society. That's when the world makes the most sense to me. You just listened to the post titled More Sense in Motion by Colin Wright of exilelifestyle.com. And that's actually an excerpt from his book, Come Back Frayed. And thank you again to Gusto for sponsoring this episode. You can use Gusto to handle your payroll, benefits, and HR. 40,000 businesses choose Gusto to process tens of billions of dollars every year. It's the best payroll for small businesses because it's easy to use, it'll save you time, it's reliable, and they have your back. You do not need an HR expert if you use Gusto. With great software and service, you can focus on what really matters in your business, not payroll. You can have automated tax payments, filings, and forms, plus flexible payroll, accounting integration, and more. And Gusto is offering an exclusive limited time deal. Sign up today and you'll get 3 months free once you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/old. That's gusto.com/OLD. I'm trying to catch up with work, so I don't have many comments on my own this week, but next week should be a little less crazy, hopefully. I hope you're having a happy Friday and a nice start to your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.